Well, I guess the thing about e-navigation is that it's been talked about for a long while, but there's still a great level of confusion out there in the shipping industry. Not that many people really understand the ins and outs of what it really means. And it's also come on the back of the introduction of ECTIS, compulsory carriage of ECTIS. So it just seems to be an extension of the same thing. What my main message is that if e-navigation is going to be useful to the shipping industry, well, they'd want to take it on. The shipping companies want to be good global citizens, they want to reduce risk to the environment, but they also need to make a profit. And if they're not making a profit, they're not going to be involved in the shipping industry. So in order to take on something new, we want to make sure that it's going to be beneficial to the industry. So is it going to improve safety? Is it going to mean that we can do better dynamic routing and therefore improve fuel efficiency and reduce our costs? Does it mean that insurance liabilities will go down? Or is it just going to be the introduction of more bureaucracy and more testing and Big Brother watching you? So my message out there was, let's make sure that if you want to put something in place, it's going to actually help the industry and it's going to improve safety and it's going to provide a benefit to the shipping companies. Shipping is international. The same ships travel in the oceans of Asia and Europe as travel in Australia. So if e-navigation is going to work, it has to be globally consistent, and that is another issue. It does need to be globally consistent. That means there needs to be good international agreement, and therefore this has to be generally coordinated through the IMO. Probably the good news story is that what I think is a framework needs to be in place that you can build all these extra systems on top of. And one of the frameworks that's been put in place over the last few years is the development of a new standard called S100 for hydrographic information systems. And all sorts of different data can be then compiled together in a logical and mutually workable way that it'll be available to the ships. But that's going to take a number of years. I think all of this is going to take a number of years, and you won't find people investing in it until they can start to see the cost benefit comes out with a positive answer. I think this is an excellent conference this year, and it's nice to see that it's been expanded from its original aids to navigation focus into more of a future navigation or a current navigations issues. We've got some great experts here, and some real details has come out. Some of the interesting things from my perspective has been the real benefits to be gained from human factors analysis and human factors engineering of systems in ships. For example, some of the new ECTIS systems that were introduced recently are different. Even though they meet the specification, they're very different in their user interface. That means that when mariners move from one ship to another, they have to be retrained on how to use the equipment because it's quite complicated. If better human factors analysis can be done beforehand so that the interfaces are very similar, it'll be more like stepping from one car and into another, and you won't have to retrain people. So that could reduce the training burden, and again, that reduces costs and makes shipping more efficient. Another discussion that was just recently this afternoon was on the use of underkeel clearance management systems to maximise the draft of ships that can move in and out of ports on different tidal ranges. And some of the problems that have come up because of incorrect declarations of weights on containers in ships, which affects their draft. It affects whether they can move in and out of a port, and it might then delay them till the next tide in certain circumstances.